After a blowout 59-20 win against Georgia Southern, the USC Trojans have improved to 2-0, in a game that seemingly left fans with more questions than answers. Much of what seemed true heading into the season and after week 1 were challenged this game, and though the team won by 40 points, many Trojan fans walked away feeling uninspired. With that in mind, let's take a closer look at what we learned and break down any key takeaways from every position group after this game. Starting with the quarterbacks, Jaden Mayava finished the game with 412 yards on 16 of 24 passing in just 3 quarters. When targeting Lane and Lemon, I thought Mayava looked great. He often found them when they were open, and outside of a couple throws to Makai Lemon, he was pretty accurate. He also showed good chemistry with the tight ends, particularly Lake McCree and Walker Lyons, which is a notable shift from last season when the position wasn't featured as much. When not targeting those 4, I found it more concerning, as Jaden doesn't seem to have a go-to third receiver target. He did connect with Zach Williams for a long 60-yard pass, which looked a little underthrown, but that seemed more like him taking advantage of a coverage bust than anything. That may explain why Coach Riley left Mayava in all the way into the 4th quarter, even after Lemon and Lane were pulled, to build timing and trust with the rest of the receiving corps before Big Ten play starts back up. As for freshman Hassan Longstreet, he saw action late and didn't really impress much as a passer, but did show composure and look comfortable in the offense. One thing that stayed consistent from last week to this week is the way that the running back room has impressed me. Watching Wayman Jordan is so exciting. He had almost 170 yards in just 3 quarters and continues to look like a stud. Behind him, Eli Sanders looks like a great complementary back and a great fit for this team. He showed off his speed again today and now leads the team in non-passing touchdowns. Brian Jackson wasn't able to play, but behind him, King Miller continues to add to his amazing walk-on story with another long touchdown. All the players in the room continue to gain key game experience, and this looks like one of the deepest running back rooms USC has had for a while. At wide receiver, Makai Lemon continues to absolutely dominate his opponents and looks like one of the best receivers in the country. His route running, his hands, his ability to break tackles were all on full display today, and he's clearly Jaden Mayava's favorite target. We also can't forget about the other stud in the room, as Jacoby Lane had a great game, headlined by that SportsCenter level touchdown catch. That one-hander is something that we have seen Lane do ever since high school, but it still amazes me every time he pulls off a move like that in front of my eyes. Outside of Lemon and Lane, the offense seemingly still hasn't found a third standout wide receiver, and with Deuce Robinson having a big game for FSU, his departure hurts more and more by the day. A receiver that I think can eventually play himself into that role is Tanook Hines. Hines only had 3 receptions for 21 yards, but he looks like a very reliable pass catcher and a great and willing blocker. And as a true freshman, he'll only get better from there. One pass catcher who I assume will have a big role this season is Walker Lyons. On Saturday, Walker had his best game to date, racking in 40 yards and a touchdown in his first start. Something that will keep him on the field is his great speed and yak ability, and I expect his production to only increase as the year goes on. Now talking about the other tight end in the room, Lake McCree had another solid performance, and while nothing he did really stood out, he continues to be a reliable pass catcher for Jaden. Moving on to the offensive line, I didn't see too many issues from them while watching the game, and I feel like overall, they improved from last week. Justin Taonu played well, Elijah Page had a good game, but the real shocker was not from someone who played, rather someone who seemingly got benched. If you haven't guessed already, The player I'm referencing is Alani Noah, because after playing in one of his best games as a Trojan last week, he came in with the second string O-line on Saturday. When asked about it, Coach Riley said that it was an inside the walls decision. By the time I'm recording this video, the PFF grades for the offensive line have already came out, and you can see Rusty's post on your screen now. It seems like PFF really likes true freshman tackle Elijah Vicona, who graded extremely well. For the offense as a whole, I think that one issue that popped up even last season was the lack of efficiency on the 2-minute drive. Last week, USC got bailed out by Eli Sanders' long touchdown catch, and I don't think they would have scored if not for that. And the 2-minute drive problems were evident Saturday as well. Jaden made a bad read and a bad throw that should have been picked. Jacoby Lane dropped the ball, and Eli wasn't able to go anywhere, forcing the offense to punt. I think that this is something that Lincoln and his offense need to clean up as soon as possible, especially since this is a team that was in so many close games last season. Moving on to the defensive line, it's clear that the pass rush definitely improved from last year. Anthony Lucas had a big game with his first career sack, and Riley kept him in well into the fourth quarter, probably trying to get him back into the flow of things after missing so much time due to injury. Aside from the pass rush though, the defensive line didn't have a great game, especially in run defense, but no position group on the team played well in that aspect. Speaking of run defense, I thought that the linebackers were very much lacking in that aspect, and part of it may be because we don't have a physical run defending backer. Desmond Stevens at Mike is more of an athletic pass defender, and Eric Gentry has a nose for the ball, but looks more like Kevin Durant than a true linebacker. This to me is a big concern, because this is just Georgia Southern. As USC goes into Big Ten play and starts facing Iowa, Michigan, Oregon, teams who want to run the ball at you, I don't know if these linebackers can stop that. And maybe Desmond Stevens will get better at defending the run, because he still is a young player. But as he is right now, he gets taken out of the play from blocks too often. I think that Stevens did flash in pass coverage though, and we all knew that that was a big part of his game since last year. As for the DBs, I thought that Sunday was a disappointing outing for most of the room, especially the safeties. Bishop Fitzgerald, who had an amazing game last week, was responsible for a couple of coverage busts. The team as a whole let up multiple big gains, and it was just something you don't want to see against a team like Georgia Southern. I do think that part of it was due to the first and second string nickels being out, and I would have really hoped for Alex Graham to play today. But I'm not going to make too many excuses when the team you're facing against is to the caliber of Georgia Southern. At corner, SC seemingly has one established guy in DeCarlos Nicholson, and outside of that, there's a bunch of unknown. And it will be interesting to see who the coaching staff will place in that opposite role. With that being said, that's it for the Georgia Southern recap. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.